Welcome back to Crime Besties. We're on episode 23 this week. Welcome, Emma.
Thanks, Meg. It's so exciting. I know I say that every week, but this is my favourite part of my week. I love it.
Somebody said to you, you're going to say the same thing. Yeah, when someone said to you this week, I don't know how you fit it all in, and you're like, and then you take on a podcast, and it's like, no, that's my fun time.
Yeah, this is my my hobby, I guess. Yeah, same for you.
Yeah, definitely.
I love it. It's a highlight of my week. Love doing it.
Yeah.
And love researching it. And yeah, this is always fun. We get to the end and we're like, oh, we actually do know things. So
this is it. I'm like, today, I've had a bit of a week trying to get the research in for this. I sort of mentioned this to you that I had other priorities this week.
And you know what? As your offsider in this podcasting gig, I fully supported your alternate priorities.
My priority was very important because I've got one of those stupid bloody Telstra box things that's expiring. It expired today. Like, it's done. It will not work this morning. Which is the only device. I have another device to watch stuff through, but that was the only device I would be able to watch Real Housewives of Salt Lake City.
Oh, now guys, if you're not into the Real Housewives franchise, what's wrong with you?
Oh, well, firstly, yeah.
But I was always a diehard Beverly Hills, diehard. Mm-hmm. And then one of our friends said to me, you have to watch Salt Lake City. And I was like, oh, yeah, okay, all right. Yeah. I am obsessed. It is so good.
Well, now I am too.
I love it.
I've been putting it off. Every time you've told me get into it, I'm like, I don't know about that. And I think I did attempt season 1 like 3 or 4 times. I was like,
I might have as well.
No, I don't get it. Like, I'm not vibing. I don't know whether it was the Mormon Wives one that kind of got me going, maybe I do need to check out Salt Lake City, because if this is a bit of the vibe of what goes on in Salt Lake City, then maybe I'll like that series. So I think that really pushed me over the edge of trying it. So I think I pushed past season 1 and
from season 2 it gets really good. So if you're time pressed, start at season 2 and you won't
miss anything. No, absolutely. But then don't miss a thing from that point on.
Yeah. So you're up to the start of season 5 now, aren't you?
Yeah, I've watched all the way through, and like literally last night I finished season 4, and now my machine's dead, so I can't watch anymore until I can work out how to get whatever streaming service I can get season 5 on.
Will be your next investment.
Will be my next investment, because my current device, for whatever reason, does not support the services that have Salt Lake City on it.
Okay.
Other Housewives ones, 100%, but not that one's, which is really annoying. So
it must be
that's a whole other thing to work out.
The Mormon Church or something. Maybe. I don't know, the Mormon God striking down upon you.
Well, yeah, probably. But yeah, so that's really distracted me this week from my typical time of researching for this stuff. I have been hell for leather watching Real Housewives.
Well, you had a deadline. I understand deadlines.
Yeah.
So I'm glad you got it done. Well done. Hats off to you. And hats off to you for also being able to research in the process.
Well, we'll see how we go. We'll see how much I let the team down today.
I reckon you'll know more than you think, as we tend to do. This one was a really interesting one to research, wasn't it? There's so many different angles. So you guys will know from the episode title that we're talking about Aaron Hernandez today. Before we get into it, though, I do have a shout out for today.
Yes.
My shout out is to Sky. Now, Sky is... we don't know Sky in our personal lives. No. She has bought us a coffee. If you guys want to, actually, she's bought us 2 coffees, 1 each. So thank you, Sky.
Thanks, Sky.
She has sent us these beautiful emails and messages. She's commented on our episodes, and I think she might be a bit of a fan, and we really, really appreciate that. I mean, I feel like there's the obligation of people who have to listen to us, who we see every day, and we're like, oh, you listen to our podcast, and like, sure. Great episode. But it's like I feel like it's such a feather in our cap when somebody unknown to us listens to us on a regular basis. And we've had a few people reach out over the time to let us know that they're loving it. But thank you so much, Sky.
Yes, thank you very much. Much appreciated.
Yeah. All right. Are we ready to get into today's episode? I think it's going to be a long one, so I think we should probably get going.
And we apologise now if we jump around a little bit, I guess. But
the timeline on this is really complex.
Yes.
And we try and keep our episodes to, I don't know, an hour and a half-ish they've been lately.
Originally we were going to do 20-minute episodes, Emma. So.
I remember. As if we barely even get through chatting before we start in 20 minutes. But there is a lot of information about this case, as there are about most of the cases that we've done so far. So if you want more information about something that we've maybe only touched on, or you want more detail about something, you can go and do research. There is so much out there about this case. We will list some of our resources in our show notes, but literally, like, all we do is Google stuff and figure out the best way to find out what we're looking for. So if there's something in particular that you want to look into more, go right ahead, because otherwise I think I listened to a long form podcast on this. There was, I think, 6 episodes, and it didn't even touch on multiple aspects of this case.
This is the thing. There's so many avenues you can go down with this case. So if there's a particular avenue that we maybe haven't gone down much that you want to look into, there's tons out there.
There will be something out there. Yeah, so we're just trying to do like a bit of a summary and touch on all of the main points and go from there. So today we are talking about Aaron Joseph Hernandez, who was born on the 6th of November in 1989. He was born in Bristol, Connecticut, which was a really, really small city or town in Connecticut.
Yeah, it's where ESPN started.
Oh, I did not know. See, look at you with the facts. You're saying you didn't get much research done, but look at you go. His mum is Terry Valentine Hernandez, and his dad's name was Dennis Hernandez, and he has an older brother named DJ Hernandez, or Dennis Jonathan Hernandez. He actually goes by Jonathan. He goes by Jonathan now. As a child, he went by DJ. Yep. So, you sort of hear him referred to as both. Their parents' relationship is interesting, and I'm thinking we could probably start there.
Yep.
They were married twice. They were married in 1986, divorced in 1991, and then remarried in 1996. They had a really sort of volatile relationship.
They're both also known to police.
Yes.
His dad, Dennis, was arrested for drug affiliated circumstances, drug, I think, dealing, if not carrying, and then mum was
I think it was both. I think it was possession and use.
Yeah, right. So then Terry was also arrested at one point for running a bookie
she
scandal.
was investigated by the FBI.
Yeah, she was running it out of the house.
Yeah, there was a story Aaron tells in a recording that was on a prison phone call that was recorded, where he discusses this incident with his mum, and he's like, I remember coming home from school. I was 11 years old. Yep. I walk in and bam, there's the FBI sitting at my kitchen table.
Yeah, crazy.
This kind of forms a bit of an idea of what their childhood was like. So mum worked as a secretary at Bristol High School, I think.
That sounds familiar.
And dad worked as a janitor at the other local high school, which was a much smaller high school, I believe.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they were both in gainful employment throughout the boys' youth.
And Dennis was a bit of a local celebrity in some ways too, for his ability in football.
Yeah.
And he did very well, more local, but was
I think he played
footballer.
College football for UConn, so for the University of Connecticut.
Yeah.
And he was known as the King.
Ooh.
Did you see that in his yearbook?
I didn't.
So because he was I guess American football is so revered, and to be talented in that arena, especially at these bigger universities who have these massive teams, you are almost like a god or a king if you're really successful. So he went to UConn, which is the University of Connecticut. I don't know that he ever actually graduated. His football career certainly didn't progress. This is Dennis I'm talking about. His football career didn't progress beyond college football. And sort of as things went on, I believe his drug charge came around that time. I don't know if he was sort of removed from the university because of the drug charges. I'm not quite sure.
No,
but
I couldn't find any more about that.
Yeah, but it was around that time that he ended up taking this job as a janitor, and that's kind of the way his life went. And I think that wasn't the only incident of drug trafficking and possession that he had over time.
That continued, but he was a very talented footballer, and obviously skills got passed on to his kids, and from all accounts he was very keen on his children becoming amazing footballers
or amazing at any sport. I think he certainly encouraged football, but basketball was up there for both of them as well.
Yeah, right.
There's Aaron, when he was at high school, he played basketball and football, and there's an interview with one of his high school basketball coaches in one of the documentaries I watched, and his basketball coach says, you know, he was a head taller than everyone. Sorry, it might have even been his football coach actually, but he was a head taller than everyone.
Yep.
He was a step or two faster than everyone. He was a big boy. Like, he was very broad and muscular. And like, even when there are photos of him in high school, so he would have been, I think, 15 at one of the photos that I saw. I'll see if we can actually pop it on our socials. He looks like a man. He's 15 years old.
Yeah. Yeah, he definitely developed very early. Yeah.
And he was so tall. And you see, like, prom photos of his.
Yeah.
And he is literally a head and shoulders above all of his peers.
Yeah.
And some of those kids are footballers too.
That's right.
And they're very physical and very athletic.
Yeah.
And yet he still towers above them.
It's almost like he was built for it. Like, it just literally built for what he ended up doing in terms of football.
That's it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So he excelled in football, and so originally, because his father had attended UConn and his brother was there as well on a football scholarship as well, the inference was basically that, you know, I guess the idea was that eventually Aaron would follow in those same footsteps. But there was a lot that sort of happened around this time. Dennis went in for a routine hernia operation, and there were complications in that surgery. And 2 days after he attended, like, he was in hospital for the surgery, he actually passed away.
Yeah.
So a routine surgery, that's obviously something's gone really wrong there.
Yeah.
And he's passed away. Aaron was 16 at the time. Yeah. So that's a really tough time of life to be going through. I mean, it would be horrific at any age. But for Aaron, he was developing what was to be his career. And this was something his father had pushed him into. Yeah. Something there was absolutely an expectation, wasn't there?
Yeah. Well, there was a lot. I mean, a lot has come out around his childhood in terms of his dad since, particularly around physical abuse that occurred and verbal abuse, all those sorts of things. It sounded pretty horrific. It sounds like his childhood was nothing but unbelievably rough
and volatile.
But he loved his dad, and this is the thing that, I mean, kids they're innate to loving their parent, no matter what they do to them. It's like this unconditional love. But and his brother has spoken about that. He wrote a book as well that's got a fair bit in there about what happened, what their childhood was like, and there was a lot of abuse,
a lot of violence, like apparently like incredibly aggressive, macho type violence. And it wasn't only perpetrated on Jonathan and Aaron, it was perpetrated against their mum as well.
But then there was also, further to that, there are allegations that there was a sexual assault on Aaron by, and I can only find out from what's out there, is that it was an older boy.
Yeah.
So no mention of like it being of who it was specifically.
Well, so the only thing I was able to find out, and this is unsubstantiated because nobody from the family, and certainly Aaron never spoke about it. Never named the person, but I have read somewhere that it was a babysitter who was coming into the home. So an older male babysitter. I don't believe, from what I could gather, not related to the boys, but yeah, there's certainly the inference that this person perpetrated sexual violence against.
And Jonathan backs that claim. It's not just Aaron who said it. His brother certainly has come out and said the same thing, that he was that it was when he was 6 years of age that it occurred. So it sounds as though I think that's what happened. I certainly believe what's been put out there. So yeah, so he's had a freaking shit house childhood, really. Awful. In a lot of ways. And so to come out of that and be like, so good at this sport that it could put him on a track to a far better life, it sounds like he's getting himself out, doesn't it?
It really does.
Yeah.
He's offered this, like, an opportunity to go to UConn. He also and he's sort of given verbal confirmation to the coach of UConn that would be something he's interested in. But then his dad has passed away around this time, and Aaron's kind of gone a little bit rogue, and he has had offers from multiple universities, and he decides, or Florida University fly him out to have a look around. And while he's there, he makes a decision without discussing it with any of his family members. He's a 16-year-old boy at this point. he decides he's going to go to the University of Florida. But the thing is, they want him early. So what they do is they petition the principal of his high school to allow him to do extra credit in order to graduate early from high school. Now, in order to get it, so the principal says he was really conflicted about whether or not to allow him to do this, but ultimately he decided that he would allow it.
Well, that was academically he was doing really well too.
He was doing okay. I don't think he was like a raging academic.
He got some sort of award for doing quite well at school at one point.
Okay.
Like I don't know what they call it. It was like a ducks or something like a.
Oh, I didn't think he was that academic.
Yeah, no, because Cheyenne, his girlfriend, actually got the same award like the following year. She was a year behind him, and yeah, they both got these awards for.
Did he get it because he was athletic though?
See, maybe
because I don't know that he was all that academic.
Yeah, I know. I just sort of read into it, kind of going, okay, well, he's got some smarts, got this incredible talent.
Maybe it was
physically.
like a popularity type thing. I don't know. I don't know. But so he's doing what he needs to do. But in order to get the extra credits to pass high school, because obviously you need a certain amount in order to pass, they let him do subjects like gardening.
Right.
And there was another one that was just as ridiculous, and he got A's in those, so he could pass and get the credit to go to university early.
I could get an A in shoveling dirt.
Yeah, you could. The reason that Florida Uni wanted him early is because they wanted him to basically start in their spring season, and he'd be like basically 6 months ahead of any other recruit. He'd learn all the plays, he'd train with the team, and he was a tight end, so he was a catcher.
You sounded like you know what you're talking about there.
Yeah, because I do. Okay.
Oh,
I got into tight ends.
Can you repeat that?
No, I'm not going to. You can clip that one out if you want to.
I will be.
Who else? Who is the most famous tight end you know? There's only one.
Aaron Hernandez?
No, dude.
Oh
Travis Kelce.
Is Travis Kelce?
Travis Kelce is a tight end.
Okay, cool. Well, yeah, he is.
Yeah, he is. Oh my God. We can't keep doing that. Oh, we could, but we can't. So Travis Kelce is the only other American footballer whose name I know.
Well, there's one other that I know that also comes slightly into this story.
Is Tom Brady.
Tom Brady.
Yes. Oh my God, he is gorgeous.
Well, because he's more, I guess, our age bracket, maybe.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. He's our age bracket.
I mean, because when he married Bunchen and stuff, it was like so big deal. And so it's like, he's like, well, it's Kelce earlier. It really isn't. It's a repeat of that a little bit.
Totally. Yeah. I mean, they're both dreamboats.
Yeah, but it's all I know about football in America is...
Yeah, actually, you know what? They were hard same. So Travis Kelce is in the same position, the tight end, for the Kansas City Chiefs as to the position that Aaron Hernandez played most commonly.
Just sort of side note, did you know there's a Hallmark movie that's come out of the Kelce Taylor Swift romance? And it's called like Chief of Love or something.
Why have you been holding out?
I don't think. No,
when did you find this out?
I don't even know where I had that in my brain, but I need to get into it and find it.
All right, well, let's schedule in a movie night. Totally all over that. Okay. All I know is I had to look up what a tight end even is, but it is an offensive position.
They catch, don't they?
And they catch balls.
They catch balls.
Yeah. And then they score touchdowns. But turns out you don't actually have to touch the ball down. You can just run over a line. I watched a fair bit of American football.
For those who don't know, I'm looking completely baffled by that. Touch down means you touch down?
I don't know, but maybe your legs touching over the line, and if you're holding the ball, that counts. I really don't know. Okay. If anybody knows, feel free to drop us a line. And then we'll explain AFL to you.
Oh, well, that we can do.
Anyway, so he's a tight end, and that was really, I think it's a really prominent position. So, you've got your quarterbacks and your tight ends, and apparently they work really well together.
If anyone wants a drinking game, just play this section and drink every time you hear the word tight end.
Hey, good one. Love that. Love that for all of you who are going to try it.
Yeah.
Okay, so he's at the he's decided to go to the University of Florida. Their NFL team is called the Gators.
The Gators.
Now, we look at our universities, and they might have sporting teams. I have absolutely no idea. I'm sure they do.
Yeah, ours is so different.
But it's nothing.
It's you don't hear about them.
The Gators Stadium in Florida holds more people than the whole township that he grew up in.
Oh my God.
In one stadium.
That's insane.
Isn't that insane? So he's gone from this small town where, apparently the University of Connecticut, they've got a really big arena and all that sort of stuff as well. They're also in this pro-level college football arena.
Yep.
But the Gators are on another level. They're a top 3 team or something.
Yeah.
Have you seen any vision of it? It is insane. The amount of people, the bleachers go as far back. You can't even see the people right at the top. It's worse than the MCG.
Wow. Because our MCG is considered rather large. So for
100,000 people.
Yeah.
Yeah. Crazy.
Wow.
Crazy stuff.
Yeah. And to think that's not even as high as you can get in terms of the levels of.
Well, then you've got the NFL above that. So these coaches in these colleges, they can earn up to $8 million a season.
Jesus.
Just for being a college football. That's how. This is the level I'm talking about.
Sorry, now I'm thinking Salt Lake City Real Housewives. So coach on that, Jen Shah's husband, did he coach college football, didn't he?
He was a recruiter for college football. Now, I actually looked into this too because...
Sorry, side note.
I was just like curious then, okay, if a coach earns $8 million, how much do all of the other staff earn? And how much money does this actually bring in? It can bring in hundreds of millions of dollars to the university. For most of these top tier universities, it is their primary source of income, not student fees, it is.
So I'm guessing the
football.
players don't get paid at college level.
They do get paid.
Yeah,
they do get paid,
yeah, okay.
and they're also allowed to take on certain sponsorships.
Yeah, right.
So they can earn an income that way too.
Okay,
but it's not like they're earning NFL money.
No.
They also get all of their college tuition paid for, but. Again, they're passing.
They've got to meet
college.
certain other criteria, I'm guessing, too, like to.
Oh yeah, but they can do whatever they want.
Pretty much. They get celebrity status.
Exactly. Yeah. They just get ticked off and get A's and.
Oh, don't even get me started. That's a whole other avenue we can go down as well.
We probably can't today.
Not today, but that is really problematic. Yeah.
We've actually talked about doing an episode on like the college admissions scandals in the US. We might do that down the track somewhere.
Yeah.
So Aaron is amazing. He is the number. He's in. I think in his second year of college football, he is named the number 1 tight end. So he's ranked really well.
Yeah,
they're starting to look at him for NFL sides. I think this is just something that NFL teams do. They constantly are sending their recruiters and whatever around to watch all of these games. I mean, there's huge money in this, so it makes sense that they would start to look many, many years in advance of who they would want in their team.
Yeah.
But around this time, Aaron really starts getting involved in some shit himself.
Oh, yeah.
And kind of really taints his image in relation to prospective clubs.
Yep. So whilst he's at the Gators, he was actually assigned to a more senior player when he was younger coming through, because he was younger than all of them coming through. And this other guy's come out and spoken about it, in that he was sort of tagged along with him and gone out, particularly he wanted to go to nightclubs and things like that. And when they were out and about, things would happen like where, someone would knock him, someone would, just upset him somehow. Like very quickly, Aaron would jump to quite aggressive behaviour. And a number of occasions, this guy had to sort of like try and calm him down and remove him from situations. But on one particular night, there is an accusation there that potentially he shot at a couple of people one night after a nightclub incident. So there's lots of that going on in the background. And it was also documented by the scouts going out and checking in on him, and because, as you say, he was very much being looked at by the NFL. There was one report that came out saying that the notes on it were self-esteem quite low, not well adjusted, emotionally, not well adjusted emotionally, not happy, moods unpredictable, not stable, doesn't take much to set him off. So these were really damning kind of reports.
I saw that report.
Yeah.
And what I found interesting was, I mean, obviously all of his athletic abilities, which are in the same report, were like 10 plus off the chart.
Yeah.
And then they've got
Yep.
his,
So he's,
his personality and attitude and
there was a
demeanor.
He actually did a personality test at one stage again by the NFL. They go this far, like, which I'm impressed with. I was impressed finding out all of that, of how they really do.
They do
look
background
at
checks
these.
and
Absolutely.
everything.
And this personality test that he did, it came out. He scored a 1 for social maturity.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. So I mean,
it says
there's
a
so many
lot.
red flags there, and so so it was very interesting to see that that's what they were
But then
looking
they
at.
still, I think they've still obviously weighted his athletic
No.
ability way and above.
No, they didn't.
Well,
Because they all said no.
They all said no until they got to the 4th round.
No, so what happened there was, the Patriots are really well known apparently for taking on players that have had trouble, and they seem to have a system that kind of works to get these players back on track. So Aaron Hernandez was aware of this, and so he wrote a letter to the Patriots saying, I take accountability for all my actions. I understand this is a big risk for you to take on me, and I'm going to do this. And if I do step out of line, you can take back this money and that money. And like this letter was very detailed. This is where I sort of kind of was getting with that little bit of, he has some intelligence.
His manager wrote the letter.
Oh, now freaking
Sorry.
kill me. Sorry. Oh, now I'm really annoyed. I thought he wrote it.
No, I'm sorry. His manager wrote the letter.
But anyway, the letter was very well written, and it did win them over. That there was okay.
It was a good move.
It was the only way it was going to be able to get there, because they were all saying no.
Yeah.
So it ended up being picked up 113th in the draft.
Yeah, in the 4th round.
Yeah.
So he should have been the number 1 draft
Yes,
pick.
in his ability, he was number 1 draft pick. Although, I mean, we know as well in terms of AFL football, you can be picked up number 1 and not go anywhere. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to be the greatest ever.
You still need to be developed, and you still need to fit in within the team. And I mean, I guess as an NFL footballer, you're putting so much money into these players that you want to be sure that they're the right mix and the right fit. So just because you're the number 1 draft pick might not mean you're the best for that team or whatever. But I mean, the fact that his ability was that of somebody who could have been a number 1 and he was number 113. I mean, as I was saying, they've looked into his background as well. They would have known that his parents had convictions. They would have known that he had a drug history, and that he'd had, although he'd never been arrested for any of those incidents that you were talking about where he was aggressive towards other people, I feel like they would have just had to have spoken to a few friends and whatever to glean all of that information. So they would have had a pretty good, and as you said, all of the personality tests and stuff, they would have had a pretty good picture of what they were taking on.
Yeah, big time.
But they decided, as in the New England Patriots, decided to take him on anyway. So he was actually their 2nd pick for a tight end.
Yeah.
They had another man, his surname begins with a G, Gronkowski, I think, or something like that.
Well.
I haven't written it down. I'm sorry if I've absolutely butchered that. I know it began with a
there's
G.
going to be others that I'll probably butcher later.
He was their number 1, but, and then, therefore, he actually started number 1 once they started playing. He was their go-to tight end.
Yeah, quick,
Very fast. But then he got injured, and Aaron started playing a little bit more time, and then he just took off. His ability outshone any of the other shit that was going on.
He got all these. He was number 1 rookie on pretty much anything, like for rookies in terms of, since records were being made of what a tight end rookie can achieve, he achieved the top. He was basically, so he was picked up in 2010. So between 2010 and 2012, basically, he was considered a person who was not only had many years of football life left in him, sort of stuff, that he was going to be the biggest and best thing ever, and already was considered a well-known name in NFL football.
Yeah.
Very quickly. I mean, he was catching the ball that, Tom Brady was kicking to him. I guess you're throwing. Sorry, they throw it.
Yeah.
I mean, to catch a ball from Tom Brady, I mean, I'd like to do that, I reckon. Yeah.
I could go that.
So, I mean, he's got a great person throwing it to him, but he's hitting all the milestones and that of what a rookie should could. It's amazing.
And after his rookie year, he was signed on a permanent contract with the New England Patriots.
Yeah.
The contract was worth just under $41 million over, I've seen 4 and 5 years written, so I'm not quite sure which one it is.
Yeah.
He was 22 years old at the time, and he also received a $12.5 million signing bonus.
Yeah. money that is uncomprehendable.
It's an extraordinary amount of money for a 22-year-old to be taking on. He had a manager who I think he put a lot of faith and trust in. His manager's name was Brian Murphy.
Yeah.
And I think Brian had been with him from like his college days.
Yeah.
And had really gotten him, like he'd written this letter and he'd really, helped Aaron get to where he was.
Yeah.
But he also says that he had his reservations, and
I think you had to, by the sounds of things.
But the thing is, Brian Murphy had a fiscal interest in what was happening with Aaron. So I don't know whether his intentions were 100% pure, and he really did have Aaron's best interest at heart.
He certainly wants his 10% cut, or probably 20% cut that he was going to make. I mean, if anyone would.
Yeah.
I mean, that's enough for a lifetime too. So, I mean, if he's going to stuff up, he's going to lose all that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, obviously what those behaviours were that we were starting to see back in Florida certainly carried over with him once he went to the Patriots. He just seemed to seek out bad behaviour and bad associates.
He was drawn to it.
Very much drawn to it. One of his colleagues on the team was quoted as saying that he got to know Aaron really quite well, really, when he first arrived, and that they were standing at their lockers and whatever and chatting, getting to know each other, and decided to exchange phone numbers. And when he did that with Aaron, Aaron said to him, "If you ever need me, ever anything, mate, you let me know. But if you fuck me over, I will kill you."
Oh.
So that kind of, for this guy, was like, what the hell? What just happened? Like, it really threw him as to who this guy was.
Have you heard of this thing that they called the Patriot Way?
No.
They explained this in one of the podcasts I was listening to, and I think you were kind of alluding to it before, that the Patriots take on these certain types of players who, may have a troubled past or may have some difficulties in their lives, and they put them through this, essentially like a course,
boot camp,
like a boot camp.
Yes. Yep.
And so everything they do, like their motto then is like, we do it the Patriot way. And I've read that, what you were just talking about then with that teammate, and he says in that, he's like, well, that wasn't the Patriot way. That's not the attitude we had. So it actually went against our core team beliefs. And Aaron was always like that.
Yeah.
He'd say what he had to say to the coach and to the owner of who he had
very charismatic, shall we say?
Hey, there's that word again.
Yeah. Because, I mean, the coach of the Patriots, now this is another name that, we've fully admitted we don't know much about NFL, but the name Belichick, I've heard that name mentioned, and I didn't really know why I knew that name until we sort of got into it and went, oh, he's clearly like a coach that had ability to coach players who had come from troubled pasts or whatever. So this Belichick was the coach, and he was on Aaron's case, certainly, and very much was trying to get Aaron back on track and focusing on the game. But it just didn't seem to hold water for anyone to be able to do that.
I feel like Aaron respected him as a coach, but he did things for him.
And that half of his brain.
That's it. That's what I'm saying. Like, outside of football, though, did he have a split personality? We'll get into that. So Aaron's girlfriend and /fiance was Cheyenne Jenkins. They met in, I think, primary school and dated during high school. They split up while Aaron was at the University of Florida, and they sort of reconnected once he'd been drafted in the NFL.
Yeah, they're sort of on and off a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they obviously got back together at some point, during his early NFL career, and bought a house together. And they fell pregnant with a little daughter, Avielle, who was born on Aaron's birthday.
Oh, you're joking? I didn't notice that.
No, they were born on the same day.
Oh, that's gorgeous.
So they really started to form, or Cheyenne certainly was building this home for them.
Yeah.
And
he proposed to her, I think, before she gave birth.
Just before. Just before she gave birth. So
they were hitting on this. Oh no, on the outside you could see this amazing career that he's looking at in front of him.
Incredible life they were building.
From all accounts, like Cheyenne, like the praise from other people on the around who she was as a person, that she was a beautiful inside and out person. He's got this beautiful baby. They're going to get married.
If you look at it from the outside in, like if you look at it from the outside, it looks like they've got this incredible life, and it's like, what you would dream.
Yeah.
You know, they've got all this money. They've got a stunning, like absolutely stunning home in a really beautiful area.
Yeah.
They've got a new little baby girl. They've got,
Yeah.
the world is their oyster. But during this time, unfortunately, so Cheyenne's sister, Shania, thank you. Cheyenne.
I can't imagine being mum trying to yell those names out when you're telling them off when they were kids.
I'm bad enough.
Yeah.
I've got Lucas and my nephew's name is Louis.
Yeah.
I get them tongue-tied yelling out to them. Like, that's bad enough, and one's my nephew.
Yeah. I call my kids the dog's name all the time. Like, I can't imagine them being that, like similar names.
Even having them written down in front of me is getting me tizzed up.
Uh-huh.
So, Cheyenne's sister, Shania, was dating a man by the name of Odin Lloyd.
Yeah.
Shania is a very, very impressive young woman in her own right.
Mm-hmm. Very,
She was studying law. She does a lot of she was already now, I think things have changed a lot for her, but she was doing pro bono work. She's really into her community service and really trying to better her town and the people around her. And she was a very very caring and giving person.
Mm-hmm.
And she was in a relationship with a man named Odin Lloyd. He was born on the 14th of November in 1985, and he was a semi-professional NFL player for the Boston Bandits.
Yeah, so he was a very talented footballer as well. But unfortunately, his path had been a little bit disrupted in terms of his steps onto playing pro football. So he had gone through all the ranks similar to Aaron, gone into college and playing very good quality college football. However, unfortunately, he couldn't financially support himself and wasn't able to access financial assistance. And so I had to unfortunately
drop
out of his college. And that meant that it doesn't mean you can't then make it to the NFL, but it's very much the path of 95% of the way you get to NFL level. So he was playing semi-pro football at this stage, which is kind of that next level down that he was hoping to get picked up by NFL still. He was really hoping that would be the next step for him. So finding out that your new girlfriend's sister is dating Aaron Hernandez, what a great contact for him to be able to then potentially meet someone who might be able to come and have a look at him, or just be part of that world. Even I'm guessing that something that he was aspiring to. He'd had a pretty rough childhood.
He'd had
himself,
a really rough childhood.
in a lot of ways similar to Aaron, and the way
very
he
much
was raised.
so. I mean, he didn't have a dad in the picture.
Yeah.
I don't think he had two sisters, and his mum was a single mum and had worked really, really hard. She's a really sweet woman, isn't she? Isn't she gorgeous?
Yeah.
She's just so lovely. Go and have a look at an interview with her. She's so sweet.
Oh, and incredibly. Yeah. Yeah.
Odin, unfortunately, in associating with Aaron, on the 17th of June in 2013, Aaron sent him a text message, I think, that basically said, hey, let's meet up. I need to kind of catch up with you. And Aaron turns up to Odin's house.
Well, his two mates actually turned up to pick him up, I think.
Was Aaron not in that car?
Maybe he was in the car.
I think he was.
At that point, I thought they picked him up later.
They'd rented a car.
Yes.
And gone to pick Odin up. Over the course of that night, it comes to be that Odin is murdered. And callously murdered.
Yep.
He's shot 6 times and left in a deserted, building site.
Yeah, it's like a industrial kind of area, and I think there was a quarry of sorts.
Right, because there's some buildings around from photos I've seen, but there's nothing, where his body was left was a rubble, basically.
Yeah, it was some sort of pit of something that was near this industrial site. Yeah, so his body was found, unfortunately, by a fairly young kid he'd been at the gym, and he was running home from the gym via this area to his house at about 5:30 in the evening, and stumbled across, unfortunately, a dead body, to which he obviously immediately reported to the police. It was unfortunately Odin Lloyd was there on the ground, dead. So the police obviously came to the scene pretty quickly. they found on the body a key to a rental car. A number of other things were found near the body and on the body, one being a joint. There was also a marijuana joint. There was also, I think, some bubble gum, some blue bubble gum.
Yep.
They're fairly key to being able to marry up to then who was there at the scene later on.
Mm-hmm.
So it didn't take long for the police to then hunt down where this rental car, particularly where and what car that was, and that had been rented out by none other than Aaron Hernandez. So there was also, and then they were able to find CCTV footage of the area as well, which again, Aaron Hernandez was seen on that footage.
That's right. So they can actually see on the neighbour's CCTV footage from Odin Lloyd's house. So I think it's the neighbour from across the road.
Yeah.
They can see that they pick him up at about, was it something about 2:30 in the morning? I think they picked him up.
About 2:30 in the morning they picked him up, yeah.
Around that time, Odin sent 3 text messages to his sister in fairly quick succession.
Yep, they were... I've got them here.
I'm just going to... I did write... did I write it down?
I did write them
down.
But
he basically said, do you know who I'm with?
She wrote back then... Oh, he didn't. He wrote back then. She wrote by hello.
Then he wrote NFL.
Yeah, she wrote who, and then he came back with NFL. It's just so you know.
Just so you know.
Yeah.
Now, okay, he's obviously felt something in order to have to send those text messages, hasn't he? Why he got in that car, we will never know. No,
there's some people have come out with some theories. But it's really interesting what went on there as to what the reason behind this happening.
Okay, let's get into that. Yeah, I think we should get into that.
All right. So the night before, and now Odin didn't hang out with Aaron a lot, but so he was kind of, I think, he enjoyed spending time with him, and we just don't know whether Aaron enjoyed spending time with Odin. But Odin was out with him at a nightclub. Whilst at the nightclub, Odin bumped into some cousins of his. And so they were in kind of another area and he was like, oh, but that's my cousins over there. So he's gone over to have a drink with his cousins. At this point in time, Aaron Hernandez was quite well known for doing PCP, which can give you quite hallucinations and things like that, but quite paranoia, really. And it was already noted by quite a number of the people around Aaron that the paranoia had gotten pretty bad with him. So Odin had gone over to his cousins and they were chatting and whatever, having a couple of drinks together. And it appears that maybe the cousins didn't like Odin hanging out with Aaron, maybe, or maybe just didn't like Aaron. But they may have just been kind of going, oh, that's the NFL player. Oh, like, and a little bit of pointing maybe going on, a little bit of like gesturing in Aaron's direction. The thought is that maybe Aaron has taken quite offense to this. So at the end of that night, they've gone home and Aaron's got really, really annoyed about this. And that's when he's gone around and picked up Odin to say, hey, get in the car. And he's gone and executed him.
Yeah, it's horrific. I mean, that's the theory I've heard most bandied about as well.
Yeah.
There is never an excuse to kill somebody, but that just like doesn't... pathetic.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Oh, it defies logic. And absolutely. I guess, I mean, if you're looking at it from the lens of Aaron being in this drug-fueled stupor, people around him, because of who he was and the celebrity that he was, they fed that. You know, nobody stood up to him. He was a ringleader. He was an alpha male. He was certainly a very blokey bloke and a very masculine. And I'm not saying masculine in that every man who's masculine is aggressive, but in that really traditional aggressive alpha male type of persona. Yes.
Because if we go, I mean, I don't know if we want to go back or not from at this point now, but this was certainly not a singular incident that had occurred that it was kind of out of Aaron's personality.
Yeah.
There was certainly other incidences prior to this that he had. Don't want to
just say it. No, say it.
He hasn't been convicted of these other things.
Yes.
But there is a fair bit of evidence out there to say that he was involved in some way.
Yeah. So what Meg's referring to is that prior to the murder of Odin Lloyd, he was implicated in and never convicted of the murder of, like, a drive-by shooting of 2 men who he'd also had an encounter with at a club, interestingly enough.
An encounter which was
Like
brief
they basically bumped him and he knocked his drink. And they think that was the motivation for him then getting in his car, following them when they stopped at a stop sign or at a red light, literally getting out of his car and shooting them point blank.
Yeah.
Both of them.
Yeah. So, and with him that night, when that occurred, is another man named of the name of Alexander Bradley. So then about a few months after that incident, Alexander Bradley ends up being shot in the face.
Through his eye.
Now, he was left for dead by whoever did that. He was very lucky to survive it. He did lose his eye and has a glass eye now. And there is thoughts that was Aaron Hernandez did that to him because there was talk around he'd brought up this killing of these other 2 blokes. So he was trying to tell him to shut up, either trying to warn him to shut up.
He was trying to kill him.
So he shuts him up.
Yeah, you don't shoot someone in the eye and think, oh, maybe they'll survive.
So because after that happened...
But Bradley has never...
Yes, he has.
Has he?
Yes, he has. So originally when he was shot, he said, don't know who did it, don't know anything.
Yes.
Right? But when it came to the trial of... So Aaron Hernandez was charged with the murder of Daniel... I'm going to murder his name. Daniel Diabro and Safiro Furtado.
Yep.
They were the 2 men that were killed in the car in the drive-by shooting
in 2012.
Was in
2012, yep.
So Alexander Bradley, when that trial came to pass, he was the key witness. So he was already in jail for about 5 years. He was put in jail for some drug charges, I think it was.
Yep.
No, shooting up a shop. That was what he did.
He also had drug convictions for drug charges.
He did as well,
though.
but I think more so what he was in jail for at that point in time was this shooting up of a shop of sorts.
Yep.
So he was in jail for 4 to 5 years at that point, but he had done a deal where he would testify at the trial against Aaron Hernandez and come clean say what he witnessed. Okay. And in that same process then, Aaron Hernandez was also charged with basically trying to, like, attempted murder of a witness, right? And tampering with a witness to a crime.
Okay.
So not only that, he did also sue Aaron Hernandez at one point for that as well. So he definitely came forward saying it was Aaron. But at this point, because he'd done a deal with the cops over it, the defense claimed, the defense attorney claimed that Alexander Bradley was only in this for himself, and that's all bullshit.
And he was just saying that to get the deal.
Yeah, and it was Alexander Bradley who actually shot the 2 guys, and Aaron Hernandez was in the car, but that's it. So, very complicated.
It is really
complicated. But yeah, so he certainly did come out and say that it was Aaron Hernandez that shot him.
Okay.
But it was just that it wasn't believed in that court that that's what happened. But he had a very good defense attorney.
Oh, he had an amazing defense attorney. Yeah. On the night, on the night that Odin, sort of going back to that now, the next day, obviously Odin's body is found. The police then link the car key that was found with Odin's body to Aaron Hernandez. So they actually go to Aaron's house and execute the first search warrant there.
So prior to the search warrant being executed, though, on June 17th, Aaron had hired cleaners to come through the house.
They were his permanent house cleaners that he got in on an extra day. And got them to, quote unquote, scrub the house.
Yeah. Not only that, he also destroyed his security system.
But didn't do a great job of it because he didn't destroy it all.
No, so they were able to get the CCTV, but he did just attempt to destroy it and broke his phone up into pieces.
Yeah, I mean...
Does that not scream guilt?
It screams guilt. It absolutely screams guilt. But what I find interesting about what the police found was they found the CCTV footage. So he destroyed the security system in that it would no longer work.
Yeah.
So the police have access to the CCTV footage that wasn't destroyed in Aaron's, attempt to get rid of any evidence. And you can see that he comes into his house on the night of the murder and he's holding something dark in the shape of a gun.
But
and
they claim it's an iPad.
yeah, I've never seen an iPad look
Looks
like a gun before. Or when Cheyenne is testifying about that footage in court, they ask her, well, what do you think it is? And she goes, oh, I don't know. Couldn't possibly speculate what that gun-shaped item might be.
Yeah.
So they look at that. They also see that Aaron comes home with the other two accomplices. They are hugging each other and, you know, they're all bros, you know, they're tapping each other on the back. They're coming in.
Because there's further footage where he comes up from the basement and he's clearly holding a gun.
Yes.
And but the defense claim that was because he was scared of the other two blokes, Ortiz and Wallace.
Yeah.
But that's
not true because
true.
there's
He's been
also
hugging them.
CCTV footage where he's holding his daughter, Aaron's holding his daughter, and he passes her to Ortiz. Ortiz is lying on the couch and playing with his daughter on his chest. You wouldn't hand your baby daughter
to a man that you're
scared of, or nor would you have him in your house lying on your couch. And the other Wallace was in the kitchen. You can see him, like he was making himself at home. They weren't scared of one another. They were good friends.
It just does like totally unsettle me, the whole idea even of the three of them have been out doing their murdering and now they've come home to play with a baby.
And they're bros. You know, it's horrible.
It's a whole nother world.
It is a whole nother world. Aaron behaves like he's untouchable. And you know what? He actually has been getting away with stuff right from his high school days. When he was showing promise as a high school footballer, so this is pre-college, a friend of his, he and a friend were both caught smoking marijuana. His friend was the only one to receive consequences because if Aaron had have received consequences, he wouldn't have been allowed to play for a certain number of games and they needed him to win. So they turned a blind eye. The same thing happened in college. He had these drug charges. He had other things going against him and everyone turned a blind eye.
He got suspended briefly, but that's about it. Like...
but he was still allowed to play football, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
So and then he's at the New England Patriots and, you know, everyone says there must have been some kind of split personality type thing going on because he was great with his teammates' kids and he was really part of the team and really personable and, you know, he goes out and talks to school kids and, you know, he's trying to be a role model. And he even says in an interview that there aren't many Hispanic athletes in American football. And so he, as a Hispanic, because his dad is Puerto Rican, he wants to be that for children. He wants to be a Hispanic role model, and yet you're going out and doing this shit. Stop it.
God, yeah.
Don't say one thing and act in another way because it's not okay.
That's where I wonder if he actually, I don't know. I mean, we can get into that, where his brain was at and what was going on there. Because to me, there is definitely two sides to him. And whether he was compartmentalising them in some way of, you know, that who he was in front of his football fans and all that sort of stuff and in his, you know, day-to-day life and then who he was at night sort of stuff was so different.
Yeah.
Oh, just unbelievable. I mean, again, because on that whole front of him, his daughter and everything, he was obsessed with his daughter. He was so, this is changing his life and he was so into being a dad and just couldn't wait to get home to her.
Sometimes.
That's so beautiful to hear, but
sometimes couldn't wait to get home to her.
Yeah.
He had another apartment. So this was known about by the New England Patriots business manager, who also assisted many of the players in their personal finance. So I don't know whether this was something that the New England Patriots were paying for or whether this was more on a personal level for Aaron. But he was renting this like really nondescript, cheap apartment in a really sort of low-key area, nothing flashy. And he said to his business manager at the time, you cannot tell Cheyenne about this. This is just for me to know. And his neighbour also testified in court at his trial for Odin Lloyd. and she basically said it just smelled like marijuana. They'd have girls over. You know, he was
Shanna
living.
knew that a lot of that was going on, though.
She did, and she sort of turned a blind eye.
She sort of had this whole persona around her of like, if I want to be with Aaron, the good parts of Aaron, I have to put up with the shit parts, and that was just.
Do you think that she was financially motivated?
Oh, look, I'm sure there was an element of that.
I find it curious that they got back together when he was drafted to the NFL.
I think they were still in communication the whole time, though.
They were always... But there were reasons why they broke up. Yeah. And I know he moved away and that presents its own challenges. I think there was
benefits for both of them in terms of that relationship, though.
I'm sure there were. I'm sure there were. I feel like for Cheyenne, though, maybe her reasons were more fiscally motivated.
She, to this day... you know, declares her love for him and backs him entirely.
That's true. I believe
her Instagram page is full of, you know, beautiful quotes about him. And
she also changed her name,
by
deed poll.
Yeah,
so they never got. They never. This is a bit on the nose, but they never got married. But she has changed her name to Cheyenne Jenkins Hernandez,
which I wonder whether. I mean, part of me is a little bit like, okay, I'm assuming her daughter has that name.
Yes.
So, and they were going to get married.
Yep.
But I still kind of find that a little bit. I don't know.
It's weird.
It's weird. Yeah.
It's odd.
Yeah.
Aaron was arrested on the 26th of June 2013 for Odin Lloyd's murder.
Yeah.
So this was, 9 days after the actual murder took place. And this was really well televised because all of the major news outlets knew this was coming at some point. They'd been camping out at Aaron's house. He hadn't left. He'd sort of bunkered down at home. And there's a really iconic image of him. So the police come to his front door and he's just wearing red shorts, no top. Mm-hmm. The police then enter his house and about half an hour later they exit with Aaron in handcuffs with a white T-shirt over the top of him. So his arms are bound behind his back in handcuffs and then a T-shirt's been put over him. So you can imagine his arms aren't through the holes of the T-shirt.
Yeah. Looks very straitjacket-ish.
Very much so.
Yeah.
This is since known on social media as Hernandezing. And if you type in #Hernandezing into TikTok, you know I did it.
Oh, God.
People are copying that. Like there are Halloween costumes of people like this. People doing dances with their arms like bound behind them and a T-shirt over the top.
Sorry, but I bet their six packs don't shine through quite as well as his.
Oh, how good is his
really
six pack?
Just,
oh my God. He was never free again after this point. So he's been taken into custody and he had to stay, like he wasn't granted bail. I mean, there was a lot of circumstantial evidence against him that sort of led to his arrest. But the trial didn't begin until 2015, until January 2015.
90 minutes after his arrest, the Patriots released him.
Yes.
They were quick and swift at trying to distance themselves from him.
Obviously they knew it was coming in that 9 days. You know, they knew because he was absolutely... and the police weren't quiet in saying that he was their number one suspect. Yeah. But they just... it took them 9 days to arrest him.
Which I mean is still pretty good. I have to say, like, they've managed to get all their evidence together in that space of time and know they've got their guy. But like, so obviously the Patriots wanted to distance themselves fairly quickly, and especially like, I mean, they couldn't really do that until he was arrested.
Yeah.
And even more so, I mean, some would say, he shouldn't have even done that until he was convicted, say, because he's innocent until proven guilty. But I think in their situation with the amount of money he was being paid, that was a fair call. I mean, all of his sponsors, everyone exit out, stage door left.
So he had this life that was incredible, and in an instant, basically, it's just turned to shit.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh.
And so shortly after he was arrested for Odin's murder, in the months coming, he was then also charged with the murders of the 2 drive-by shooting people that
the ones who accidentally bumped his drink in the club.
If I try and say their names again, I'll totally destroy them. So I feel really bad.
Go back if you want to re-listen to the way Meg says those. I'm not even going to attempt it.
No. His first name was Daniel and the other dude was Furtado. We'll stick with Daniel and Furtado.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The way that they found out that he was connected to those crimes, though, is really interesting. So at the time of Aaron Hernandez's dad's death, he and his mum really became estranged. They don't have the best relationship. Given the way Aaron grew up, I can really understand that. It sounds like things were volatile. His mum was involved in crime. His dad was involved in crime. He feels like in his dad's death, his mum didn't support him and his brother through that.
She remarried really quickly.
And who did she remarry? His cousin's husband.
Yes.
So he really then lent on his cousin Tanya Singleton, and he lived there for a time. She says that he's like a son to her. They were incredibly close. They were so close that Aaron left the car that he was in when he perpetrated the drive-by shooting in her garage for years and years and years until the police found it when they were searching her house because Aaron had lived there in relation to the Odin Lloyd murder.
Yeah. Yeah. Whoa. Yeah. They'd been looking for that car for years.
Years.
And stumble across it in that garage.
Yep.
Yeah.
So they then got a search warrant to search that car, and they were able to prove that it was the car that was involved in that drive-by shooting.
Yeah.
So that's how they were able to then bring the charges upon Aaron for that crime as well.
Yeah.
And Tanya, they also brought charges against her. She was suffering, so she was like, it was, a conspiracy to, no, what was her charge?
With?
Obstruction of justice, maybe?
I think so, yeah.
But she was actually suffering from primary breast cancer, but she had secondary, she had lung, I believe colon cancer. She was not in a good way. She served 4 months in prison.
Yeah.
For that
and then
charge.
Compassionate grounds, basically, they didn't charge her with anything else. But based on the fact that, unfortunately,
she was terminal
and passed away not long after all this sort of played out.
Yeah.
So, I mean, her sentence had sort of almost been given to her already, which is awful. Yeah.
Yeah, but she also committed a crime.
Oh, totally. Yeah, yeah.
I mean, I'm sorry that she was going through.
Anybody, to be
no,
honest.
You wouldn't, of course, and you wouldn't wish that on anyone.
No.
But she still, like, cancer aside.
Yeah.
She assisted
in
and
crime.
knew what was going on.
Yeah, and there was lots going on in terms of behind the scenes whilst he was in jail, between then conversations with, I believe it was Wallace or Ortiz.
I think it was Ortiz.
Yeah, that she was potentially getting money to him, or he was getting money to her, or something. I can't remember exactly how that all played out. It was quite complicated.
Excuse me.
Yeah, they were being sort of paid off to keep quiet on certain things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, just crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy stuff. We are now at the point of the trial of Aaron for Odin's murder.
Yep.
There is so much to look into if you want to look into this into more depth, but the outcome of it was that he was convicted of first degree murder for Odin Lloyd. The other two perpetrators who were there were they both actually pled guilty to accessory charges. So they both did 4 or 5 odd years in prison each. Aaron received a life in prison sentence. He was serving that sentence when the trial for the drive-by shooting came about, and he underwent that trial during this time, and he was actually found not guilty on both charges. So on the two murder charges for both of the men in that car.
Yeah, so that was where the defence attorney was able to put a bit of doubt in the jury's mind as to whether or not it was Alexander Bradley who shot them or whether it was Aaron Hernandez.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is interesting.
It is interesting. The relief, so again, you can go and have a look at this, Google Aaron Hernandez court case, whatever. You can see his reaction. So when he was convicted of the murder of Odin Lloyd, he is stoic. Mm-hmm. You don't even really see a change in his face. He doesn't look to anyone. He just sits there, stands up, they handcuff him and they take him away.
Yeah.
When the conviction is when he's not
acquitted.
convicted, when he's acquitted, of the other 2 murders, he's so emotional, sobbing. He turns around, he looks at his daughter, he blows a kiss to her. She's in the courtroom just for that last part. Cheyenne was the only family member to attend that second court case.
Mm-hmm.
He had no other support. Everyone had abandoned him by that point. I mean, he was a convicted murderer. So, I mean, that's going to give you a few enemies, isn't it? Or people certainly aren't going to stick by you if that's where you're at.
Well, even Cheyenne for, backing Hernandez in that way, she lost her sister too. So they were quite estranged. There's very little communication between them since that point. Yeah.
I think Cheyenne also had a perjury charge brought against her for that first trial against in relation to Odin Lloyd because she was obstructive in not remembering things and whatever. That ended up being thrown out. But I think that was probably more to put some pressure on Aaron's side of things to...
Yeah, well, she was pretty much granted immunity in terms of things as well because of that, because she did testify, but she certainly didn't testify against Aaron. She was very...
She forgot a lot of things.
Forgot a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, like where she put a box with potentially a gun in it.
Yeah, there's again CCTV footage of her basically with this giant black plastic garbage bag with something heavy and box-like inside it that Aaron had asked her to get rid of.
Yeah, there was a text message which was fairly code written around removing that box. You know, how you broke the TV sitting near there.
Make sure you get rid of that.
Yeah.
And so she does, but she can't remember where. She thinks she put it in a dumpster, but she can't remember where the dumpster is. Yeah. And she drove her sister's car there, although she'd never driven her sister's car before, and she had access to all of their cars.
Yeah.
It was all very interesting. So, there's an interview. Sorry.
Shania, her sister, who was Odin Lloyd's girlfriend. So she actually, when this all went down, and obviously didn't know it was Aaron who had killed him, and he certainly wasn't, being looked at first. She went and stayed at Aaron Hernandez's house with her sister, and Aaron Hernandez was really, really supportive of her doing the whole we're going to find out who killed him and we're going to help you and all that sort of thing. I just find that really off, making out as if he didn't have anything to do with it. I just found that really
he's
unsettling.
Just as upset and he wants justice.
Yeah,
well,
yeah.
Justice was ultimately served, I suppose.
Oh, yeah.
2 days after his the second trial, he was acquitted of those two murders. He's in prison still serving out the life sentence for Odin Lloyd, and he is found hanged in his cell.
Yep. He
had created a noose essentially out of bed sheets and tied himself to the bars of a window. And they said he would have had to have really wanted to do this because he would have had to have gone against all of his instincts to stand up, because he could have stood up, but he's had to basically bend his knees. What he did was he put
soap and shampoo all over the floor, and they said potentially two reasons for that. One, that way the guards couldn't get to him, they'd slip and fall getting to him to stop it from occurring.
Right.
But also to stop himself from being able to get footing
stand
up.
Yeah.
So,
but still, you would have had to have had.
He had to have wanted this to have occurred.
Yeah, he's put everything into it.
Yeah. Interestingly, it was a conversation between him and another prison mate before that happened, where he'd asked that prison mate's opinion on the fact that he had an appeal out on his conviction for killing Odin Lloyd. Mm-hmm. Obviously, he'd been acquitted of the other murders. So the only one outstanding, obviously, at that point in time was his murder of Odin Lloyd. And while the appeal was on foot, if he was to die, would that appeal then sort of basically get put to the side, and he would basically be absolved of that murder?
So there's a really archaic law in Massachusetts, and it's called an abatement law. So if you die while you're on appeal, your conviction is automatically erased.
Yeah.
And that's what happened in the case of Aaron Hernandez. So he was actually acquitted of Odin Lloyd's murder because he'd appealed it and he died while it was on appeal.
Yeah.
How unfair and how awful is that?
Yeah.
Odin Lloyd's mother changed this law in the wake of this. So Aaron's acquittal still stands because the law was changed after this fact. Mm-hmm. But she said she does not want any other family who's in this situation to have to go through what she went through.
Yeah.
And, you know, the judicial system decided that, yes, this was an archaic law and it was not something that was any longer appropriate in today's society. So that was overturned. So if anything, that's a legacy that Odin Lloyd's mother was able to leave in tribute to her son. What a weird law.
Oh, I know. I found that really interesting because at an appeal stage, you have all the facts.
Yeah.
It's basically now a judge just deciding whether or not it was done correctly. So him being there or not doesn't really matter.
Yeah, it doesn't at all.
Yeah.
So Aaron left 3 suicide notes, one to his fiancée, and in it he writes, "Now you're rich."
Yeah, so there's a thought process that because of the way, because he's now not convicted of that murder, that now his $40 million contract, there is, well, not all 40 million of it, but parts of that 40 million contract stand, and she should receive a fairly
all of that money,
chunk of money. So that was interesting to think that he was. I mean, part of me kind of goes, okay, he was looking out for his wife and not wife, but girlfriend and daughter in doing that in his fucked up life. But still, that's a weird thing and a weird way to say it.
Yeah.
Really odd.
Really strange. He left a letter for his daughter.
Yep.
Shaina thinks that potentially... So she doesn't believe that he committed suicide. She thinks that he was murdered in prison because she just doesn't think that he would ever leave her or her daughter or their daughter. Mm-hmm. She says that the letter's lovely, but it's not personal, and that's what makes her think that Aaron didn't write it. There is some... So the prison guards on the night that he killed himself, they didn't do what they were meant to do. So they were meant to do hourly checks, but this particular guard on this particular night was a bit lazy. First time he went around, I think he forgot like the key to get into that whole wing of the prison. Yeah. So he just didn't do the check there.
He was on his own in a particular cell because he was so famous and all that stuff. He was very segregated from other inmates.
So he's like, I can't hear anything, so I'm sure everything's fine. He's right. Did that 3 hours in a row, and then on the 4th hour is when he was discovered.
Yeah.
So, you know, he's had a lot of time there, and he was well and truly deceased when they got to him.
Maybe he knew that's what the pattern of the guard, that guard's actions were too, and you just used it to his advantage at that time. So
yeah, maybe.
Who knows?
The other letter was for his lawyer, and... you know, has been described as potentially a bit of a confessional of other things.
I heard that letter was for someone else.
Well, that's where the conjecture comes in. Although the lawyers have said that it was for them. So why would what motive do they have to lie?
Yeah.
Because if they thought it was for someone else, we haven't even gotten into this side of things.
There's a whole...
So let's just really, really quickly talk about this side of things. Aaron had sexual relationships with men from a fairly young age.
Yeah.
Whether he was bisexual or homosexual and living a life that he thought he should be living with Cheyenne, we don't know.
Well, yeah. And I heard it, and I find this really sad, that he believed that he'd been made into being gay because of he was sexually abused as a child, which I just find that really unsettles me. Like that, well, that he grew up in a household that homosexuality, his dad was absolutely adamant that was not okay, which is awful. But to think that that's what turns you gay, and there's proof that that's not what makes you gay.
No.
And so I really do question his, his idea of what being gay is, and I think he's got a whole lot of issues in terms of his thinking around what gay is and how you become gay. That's not how you become gay, and there's nothing wrong with it. But yeah, he lived a life of not really knowing who he really was, I think, and really misunderstood himself in that sense.
For sure. But to his credit, he sought out some professional help with an NFL psychologist around this matter and confessed to the psychologist that he had sexual feelings towards men.
Yeah.
And the psychologist said at the time, you're not the first person, you're not the second person, you're not the third person in NFL to tell me that. There are countless other men, none of whom had come out at the time as being gay and being in the NFL, but they were there.
Yeah.
Of course they were. gay people represent a percentage of any population. It doesn't matter whether you're an NFL footballer or you're a ballet dancer or you're a teacher or you're a, I don't know, whatever, a gardener. It doesn't matter.
No.
But in that hyper masculine environment, it was, I don't know, nobody came out.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's still fairly low. I think, I know from AFL perspective, it's not, they don't come out. They're not representative of the population. Yeah, it doesn't. And it's so wrong. I mean, I hope that men are starting to feel like they can come forward and no matter what they do for a living.
Yeah.
That could be your life. And there should be no shame on that.
No.
Whatsoever.
Yeah, the stigma needs to fuck right off.
Oh, God, yeah.
After Aaron's death, his mum and brother agreed to donate his brain to, I think it was the Boston University. They have a brain science unit there, and they they were sort of studying brains, initially looking at Alzheimer's, and they found that in brains of people who had suffered multiple concussions or head traumas over their life, they discovered what they call chronic traumatic encephalopathy, CTE for short. And this is a neurodegenerative disease that is linked to repeated head trauma, basically.
Yeah.
It's diagnosed after death at the moment via dissection of the brain. So it's not something at the moment that can be diagnosed.
I wanted to ask you that.
In life.
Yeah, because
they are
trying towards it, are they?
Yeah, that's why they've got these very, very clever people trying to figure out a way of how to diagnose during life.
Yeah.
In Aaron's case, he had very advanced disease. At 27 years of age, he had the most advanced disease they had seen in somebody of that age.
Yeah.
Of anyone they'd seen, let alone someone of that age.
Because he'd only at that stage, I mean, we're talking, say just thinking about his life as NFL and saying that's where he's received those concussions. I mean, he's been playing NFL a long, long time. Not NFL necessarily, but playing football for a very long time. But he only played like 3 seasons for the NFL. I mean, he'd been playing football his pretty much
entire
whole life. But I don't know how many concussions he'd actually received or noted. Did you find that?
This is the thing. He'd received 1 noted concussion in high school.
Yep.
1 during university.
Yeah.
And then once they get to NFL, they don't really record them.
What?
But there's a culture that if you get knocked out, you get back up again and you keep going.
Oh.
And what we know now is that is the literal worst thing that you can do. I was the trainer for my son's AFL junior football team.
Yep.
And there is a rule now that is brought out by, it's an AFL-wide rule.
Yep.
So it's whether you play AFL professionally or at the grassroots level like our little kids do. If you receive a head knock and a concussion, you have to sit out from football for 21 days.
Yep.
And there's a whole concussion protocol that goes along with that. And then honestly, as a parent, you need to make the decision as to whether or not you want your child continuing down that path.
Yeah.
Knowing what we know now, and we're definitely at the very infant stages of knowing what this is going to potentially cause in the future. But there are AFL footballers who receive a concussion. I mean, I know there's a Melbourne football player who has retired this year because he received such a bad concussion that he said his brain health is not worth it. Yep. He has to quit.
Yeah.
There's no option.
And there's a lot of ex-players that have come forward as well, with similar things.
There are players who, there are men who are in their 50s and 60s who can't drive a car anymore, who don't know where they've left their car keys, who have no executive functioning because of these repeated traumas.
Yeah.
In Aaron's case, it's affected his frontal lobe, which is involved in decision making, impulse control, all that executive functioning, and your propensity to be violent.
Absolutely, yeah. And that's so
and
scary.
I'm not saying that everybody with CTE, in fact, most people with CTE then don't go on to perpetrate murder.
No.
But Aaron's obviously had a history of really poor behaviours that have then escalated to this point, probably somewhat accelerated by his CTE.
And I mean, you've got to wonder when this started to occur for him. I mean, we talked about much earlier in this about his dad's abuse and that was physical. So, I mean, he could have been getting concussions as early in life, as first off in his first few years of life. So, I mean, I dare say with how the brain works that if this has happened earlier in life, potentially it's had even more impact than happening later in life too, because of that executive functioning being damaged, along the way. So, yeah, at a point there's got to be intervention for these things. I'm hoping that they're moving really close towards being able to, do brain scans in life and pick these things up earlier. Because I guess for in Aaron's situation, I wonder whether as a younger person, in say starting college, they do a brain scan to see what's going on. If they intervene, and kind of is there treatment? Is there something you can do?
Well, there's no treatment at the moment, but will there be at some point? We don't know.
But potentially enough intervention to have someone not murdered.
Yeah, but it still requires the person, or if it's a child, the person's parents, to make a really tough decision. So you actually have to decide that maybe your child who is passionate about playing a sport, like, okay, Aaron's received this. He received a really significant concussion in high school. What if the advice was given then to his family to say he should not be playing football anymore?
Well, and that's where I think it's really hard to say that.
But that's a really, really tough decision to make. But at the end of the day, that's your child's brain health.
Yeah.
And ongoing.
Would you rather him stop playing football at that point and live a very ordinary life, or continue on and potentially turn into who he turned into, but get that $40 million contract with the
what
NFL?
did that $40 million contract mean at the end of the day?
No, this is it.
Fuck all, because he killed someone.
That's where you want to
killed
ball,
three
don't
people.
you? And kind of go for him. It was a definite. It should have been this is it for you, mate. You're done. But we don't.
Hindsight's a beautiful thing too, because not everybody who receives multiple head traumas will develop CTE either,
and or to that extent of what he, developed. So
that's it.
Oh, it's so hard.
It's really complex. So yeah, as you said, let's hope they can develop screening tools for people while they're alive, and maybe you can monitor the disease. And
because I'm wondering too, we always talk, from AFL to NFL, like AFL players are considered hardcore. I know a lot of Americans that I know that have watched AFL, go, holy cow, that's ridiculous.
Well, they can't believe that they don't wear any
no protection whatsoever. Whereas, like NFL players wear a whole lot of gear to protect themselves, in particular helmets. But I know that like the helmets they wear for AFL that we've spoken about with our young kids, like they sort of say potentially not as great.
But the thing with the helmet is it doesn't prevent a concussion, because your brain is still smacking into the inside of your head. You can't protect your brain.
No, so is that the same? That would obviously be the same with the big helmets they wear in NFL compared to like these ones that our kids are wearing.
That's it. Those hard, big helmets, they're protecting against skull fractures and, eyes being, poked out, or, I don't know.
Yeah.
They're a far more sort of
external injury,
that's it.
protection.
But you can't,
it's not
a
internal.
helmet doesn't prevent a concussion.
No, because that's your brain banging against the inside
of your head.
And you can't stop that.
No, nothing stops that.
No.
And so it's a really tough one.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, we all love our football, whether, in America it be NFL and we're in AFL in Australia. We pay them incredibly well to play these amazing sports for us. But, geez, there's some real negative impacts potentially.
Risks.
For them. Yeah.
Yep. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Really tough. Anyway.
Well, just ending on a quote, like James Patterson, who was an author, I feel like there was a really great quote from him in terms of how he saw Aaron Hernandez as being an all-pro footballer who operated like a serial killer.
That's true.
Which is so true. And unfortunately, apparently, whilst he was in jail, Aaron Hernandez spoke to another inmate and actually referred to potentially that he killed 4 people.
Oh, I didn't know about that.
And if he did, if that is true, he then qualifies as a serial killer.
He does.
Yeah. So I don't know if that's true. That was just it. Whether that
a bit of a throwaway comment,
or not. But if that was true,
there you go.
Yeah.
I mean, 3's a lot. Not that we can say he murdered the other 2 because he wasn't convicted of those other 2 murders.
But I mean, if he was potentially, he attempted to kill Alexander Bradley.
Yep. Good point. Let's leave it on that note.
Let's.
Please join us again next week. If you'd like to buy us a coffee, head over to buymeacoffee.com/Two Crime Besties.
All the links are in our show notes along with our socials as well.
Yep. And please follow us on our socials.
Oh, yeah.
We would really, really, really like some more followers on Instagram and Facebook, please.
I just need a few more on TikTok before I get to that next level of what I can do too. So,
Oh, yeah. TikTok. Yeah. Let's do that too.
Jump on all of them.
Thanks, everyone. Really appreciate it. Next week, we are going to be talking about Jane Thurgood Dove.
Oh, I didn't even know what our next episode was, so thanks.
You're welcome. This one's a big case of mistaken identity, so
yes,
stay tuned for this one.
Now. Yay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a good one.
It's a really good one. Yep.
All right, very interesting.
Okay, thank you, everybody, for joining us, and we'll see you again next week.
Thanks, everyone. Stay
Bye.
curious, crime besties.
Bye. He'd train with the team. They'd be, and he was a tight end. So he was a catcher.
You sounded like you know what you're talking about there.
Yeah, because I do. Oh, okay.
Oh,
I got into tight ends.
can you repeat that?
No, I'm not going to. You can clip that one out if you want to.
I will be.